Welcome back, OS family, to the YouTube channel. And off rip, I would like to make an announcement that I have officially started my mentorship. I will definitely make a post on the channel later this evening on it. So when that post go up, check it out. And anybody who wants to be a part of it, they could follow the instructions on the post to find the Instagram and everything going forward. But enough of that, and we heading straight into the pre-market analysis, and we hit straight the dollar index. So on the dollar index, we was looking at this weekly fair value. This weekly fair value gap, it was our valid fair value gap, but we have the down close candle, we have 3 consecutive candles, and we have the middle candle with the gap in between. And we see that the fair value gap field, we closed below it of the entirety of the fair value gap. So what that's telling me is that we looking for bullishness coming into the market, and we aiming for these relative equal highs here for next week as we draw on liquidity, and also it framing the piggybacking off of what I said last week, where I was looking at this weekly fair value gap on pound, and I was saying if this fair value gap fail, I would anticipate price to come down at least to this breaker here, and at least 2 standard deviations down. But we saw that didn't happen. We just went down to 1 deviation, a little underneath it, about look like about 20 pips underneath it. 16 pips underneath before we ultimately change direction, and we closed above. So we went down into last week price action. This was on the 24th of June, went underneath it on the Tuesday, and then we trade above. So with that being said, we had a consolidation inside of this range in here. Right in here we had a consolidation, and see now how last week was Q1, I was really looking to see, after we took the previous week high, I wanted to see if we was going to reject that and just have like a small week, but we had a big range in week, and we closed at the higher end basically of that candle. Yeah, we closed at the high end of the candle on the weekly chart, using this fair value gap, using this imbalance in here, sorry, as the catalyst to go higher. And if you can remember that the last week Sunday analysis, I was saying if we use this fair value gap and then we break these highs, the target for the draw will be up here, and you can clearly see that is the draw. I was looking for some shorts, but the shorts never really hold. And if we look at the range where we consolidated, we traded out about 3 deviations up. So I could see a pullback coming in, being week 2, where we would see any down days as manipulation, considering how we are bullish. And we can see we have a down close candle in here, and we have consecutive up days, and these 3 down weeks. Actually not expecting price to come all the way down, because these 3 down weeks will act as a monthly order block, right? So I could look for we can see that we have a kind of tight range movements in here. I believe we have liquidity just resting on it here. We didn't get a pullback, so we took a pullback, and we look to go long from on that pullback, aiming for the highs. If you look at the economic calendar coming in for this week, we have no news on Monday. We have Fed testifying Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we have CPI Thursday. So I could already see tomorrow go and give us a range. And if you look at how Friday closed, Friday price action, it was upwards, but it was kind of tight. If you also look on Euro, we saw Friday, we didn't really had any range Friday, and last week open here, we didn't really, no wait, that's not last week open, actually it is last week open. Last week open was the order block. Yeah, last week open was the order block. So we could anticipate a pullback into, let's see, at least Friday. I could see tomorrow opening and all the gate maybe trading up and then going lower. So I would look for the liquidity above here to be tapped. Again, the subject to how we open, and I may look for a short depending on how price trade above these two highs, Friday high. I'll look for a short above here. Damn. Yeah, I'll look for a short above Friday's high. Considering how we had like a tight range Friday. We had non-farm payroll also. The last down day that we had was, actually we didn't have no down days that week. Monday open, yeah. So we had the week open here. So it's last week open. So but if it's one thing, I added gold to the gulag and I saw the structure for gold looking pretty nice. See, gold, we consolidated inside of this range. If we look at last week price action in Q1, we accumulated over these highs. So what I'll be looking for is for gold to, we have bull flag on gold, so that's pretty dangerous. So it depends on how we open. But if we trade down, we didn't complete the move up for gold as yet. So I'm looking at gold for a long one for sure. I want to see us trade into how we open. If we trade into here, I want to see how price reacts at hit this level, and I'll be aiming for the liquidity up here. So for as far as for all the players are watching, gold and yeah, gold have the nicest setup, and based off a seasonal tendency also anticipating bullishness for foreign and bearishness on dollar, because that's the seasonal tendency for the dollar index. So seeing as how this fair value gap fail, I can see they may want to dig into this order block in here, and you see we have a wick, so we have an imbalance here, but we also have the dollar index is in a range, this dealer range in here, from these relative equal lows to this high. You know, we at the 50% of it, well, underneath 50% of it, I should say. I could even see that without even joining fib. But you know, we at a level where a reversal could, not a reversal but a pullback, you know. But at the same time too, I feel as though when we trade up above here, I really thought we wanted to take these as highs because it was so close. But because of the failure, it just making me feel like this dollar index staying inside this consolidation in here. We could definitely see that consolidation up until the election. I don't want to look too far ahead, but dollar index is not doing anything with real speed now, right now. So while the dollar index inside of this range, I definitely would want to look at going long in other commodities. So if we're looking good, we could see that we broke this low. We have a low, we have a high, we have a low, and we have a high here. We broke these two lows, these lows, and we have a imbalance here. We had a fair value gap here that failed, drive prices lower. So this is like an inversion fair value gap here. Right in here. That's kind of called an inversion fair value gap, a balanced price range. And we have our weekly fair value gap to play off of. But let's look at the 4-hour structure, and I want to see this up close candle in here. What price does that here? So seeing that we have to assume that the dollar index would want to go lower into the weekly order block at the drawn liquidity, any pullbacks higher for dollar index would subsequently cause these pairs to come down, which we could see that happening, and we want to capitalize on the longs when that happens to trade up to these highs in here. So that's the play for me going into next week. Seasonal tendency for the dollars to go down and for foreign and gold to go up, so I'll be looking very bullish going into next week. And being Q2, we may have a tight range week considering how Q1 traded up and expand. So Q2 could be one of those consolidation weeks, but we have no choice but to move on the direction of what the next draw more likely to be. And for me, the next draw is upwards. So I'll be looking for long straight out the gate from tomorrow, Tuesday, and I just have a feeling tomorrow, Monday, going to be a it may have a big range, just going off of what I have been seeing based on how Friday trade. It wasn't much of a consolidation. It did trade up, but very slow. There was a lot of liquidity underneath here, so I feel like Friday would want to just open, go above. Monday would want to open, go above, and then go down. So I feel I may look at that at London this morning, or more than likely New York. I'll look for New York session. If not, well, we just wait until Fed testify and see what's up. So I'll check back eventually. This week we're actively looking for setup, so all the trades that I'll be taking would be on the funded and the challenge phase. So I'll catch you guys back in the next video.